got my Stranger Things shirt on today. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Magic 8-Ball toy. Now this toy has been around since the 1950s, so maybe some of you don't know what it is. I'm sure most of you do though. It may look like a simple functioning little kid's toy, but there are actually so many dark and creepy things about it. It's ridiculous. So we are going to be talking about all the dangers behind the Magic 8-Ball in just a second, but first, as promised, I'm going to be announcing the Halloween backdrop winner from last month. This is for the second Halloween backdrop. That person is OJ Smith, so congratulations. I have reached out to you on Instagram and DM'd you. And for those of you who want to win this backdrop behind me, I do have a brand new rule for how you can enter, and I talked all about that in my last video. It's weird because so many of you guys have said you weren't notified for my previous video. I have no idea why YouTube did that to me, like what the heck? So if you want to find out the new rule of how to enter for this Christmassy winter backdrop behind me, watch my previous video, because that'll like bring y'all there. You know what I mean? You could easily do that after, because first, we're talking about a very, very scary toy today. Actually, speaking of mysterious things, I actually have some new Christmas merch that I'm so excited about. I have come out with Christmas mystery boxes. They come in 3 different sizes: the Magic Mini, the Mystical Medium, and the Galactic Giant. Now, everything you see in these pictures are just examples of what you can get, but everybody's box is completely different. Some of the things in the box are merch that you've seen before, but some things are completely new that aren't even available on the website. They're only featured inside these mystery boxes. There's so many new and magical things inside these boxes ready for Christmas, and these are a very limited time item. So if you would like a new Jessii Vee mystery box just in time for Christmas, the link is down below in the description. So let's get started. I'm first gonna talk a little bit about the history of the Magic 8-Ball, just in case you don't know. The Magic 8-Ball is a toy used for fortune telling or seeking advice. It was developed in the 1950s and is manufactured by Mattel. If you guys didn't know, Mattel is the same company that makes Barbie and all kinds of other toys that you know and love. The user asks a yes or no question to the large plastic ball, and then it turns over to reveal a written answer, which appears on the surface of the toy. The Magic 8-Ball is styled after a billiards ball, and it has about 20 different answers that it can give you. So you can basically ask this toy absolutely anything that you wanted. Does my crush like me? Will I get 100% on my math test? Literally anything you can think of, you ask this ball, shake it up, and it will reveal an answer to you. A lot of people take this toy very seriously, and a lot of people use it just for fun. But let's go back in time a little bit farther. The device was invented by Albert C. Carter. It was actually inspired by the fact that his mother was a clairvoyant. A clairvoyant is someone with the ability to experience psychic phenomena in a visual way, and that could be through a dream or literal visions while you're awake. She also claimed that she could communicate with ghosts. So because his mother was always communicating with the unknown, or the other side as you may put it, he wanted to create a toy that kind of mimicked that. So a lot of people don't know it was inspired by very paranormal reasons. And in modern day now, the Magic 8-Ball is used all the time at sleepovers, at parties, and like I said, people think it's such an innocent little toy, but if you go back into its history, it has a lot of darker meaning. Now, I have a personal little creepy story that has to do with a Magic 8-Ball. It happened to me when I was pretty young. I believe I was in grade 3, and someone gave this Magic 8-Ball to me as a gift while I was at school. I can't remember what the occasion was. Maybe it was my birthday or something. I just remember being so excited that someone would gift this to me, because everyone else in my class was always playing with them. On the bus ride home from school, I was just sitting there constantly asking it questions and shaking it up and seeing what it would say, and it would just like reveal the answer. It was like magic to me. It was so weird. I don't really see a lot of kids playing with these anymore. I think it was definitely more popular in the 90s and before that, but my friends at school would also sit with me and ask it questions. But what was weird was I noticed that the questions went from being innocent and silly to more dark and sinister the more questions they asked. For example, people started asking asking it, am I gonna die before I'm 20? Is this bus going to crash? Is there a ghost here that wants to talk to us? And I do remember feeling a little bit uncomfortable because the questions started to get so weird and morbid. When I got home and I was walking through the house up to my bedroom holding this magic 8-ball, I walked by my mom, and the second she saw me carrying this magic 8-ball, she was like, no, 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 where are you going with that? She like rushed over to me, grabbed it from my hands, and she was like, you cannot have that. Her face was terrified, and she was like, please tell me you haven't used this yet. And that's a really scary thing to hear from your parent when you know the whole entire day you had been using it. I told her I was using it, and I asked her what was so wrong, and she told me that something very bad happened to her when she was a kid, but she didn't want to talk to me about it. She basically took the magic ball away from me. I have no idea where she put it, but I had never seen it again since that day. Over the next few days, I was just so confused and anxious and curious about what she couldn't tell me. And each day I would walk up to her and be like, Mom, please tell me what's wrong. Like, what happened when you were a kid? So she finally sat down with me and told me about a story about a time her and her friends were using a Ouija board at a Halloween party and things went really, really wrong. She was using it to try to communicate with a friend of hers that passed away, but she ended up communicating with a really evil spirit who she thought was her best friend. It's a very complicated story with her and the Ouija board, but it scarred her for life and the experience was so dark and evil. I actually did a whole story about this Ouija board experience on my channel like 4 years ago. I will link that video down below in the description for you guys to watch after if you want to. But she basically told me that a magic 8-ball is very similar to a Ouija board if you're using it to communicate with spirits. It's like a Ouija board in disguise. So basically, since I was a kid, I've always been afraid of Ouija boards and magic 8-balls. And it might seem silly, you might be like, Jess, it's literally just a toy. But I feel like any device, it could be a toothbrush, if you're using it to communicate with the spirit, they will latch onto that. Because think about it, I believe spirits are all around us constantly and they will jump onto anything that will allow them to communicate with us and to get a grasp of like the real life world. And the fact that the magic 8-ball was used for that purpose back when it was invented. I mean, even spirit boxes make me nervous because you're still communicating with the dead. And it doesn't mean that every time you're using a magic 8-ball, it means you're communicating with spirits. It's all about how you use it. You know what I mean? The next interesting fact that I'm kind of excited about is that there is a magic 8-ball horror movie actually coming out. It's being made right now. Blumhouse, which is a noted horror studio, will actually produce the film. And they partnered with Mattel, the company that's making these magic 8-balls, to make this film. Blumhouse previously partnered with Hasbro to create a movie based on the Ouija board. And that movie earned more than $103 million at the global box office. So a movie about a magic 8-ball might do well as well, seeing as the Ouija board one did too. I feel like if you make a movie about any sort of nostalgic toy that people know, it's gonna do well. I mean, think about my nostalgic series on YouTube. You guys love that because you like nostalgia. You like remembering things. So let's move on to some silly fortune-telling toys and fortune-telling devices. Because as sinister and as creepy as the magic 8-ball and the Ouija board is, there are also ones that have been made for kids that are a little bit silly and peculiar. First, we have the fortune-telling fish. It's basically this little tiny thin piece of material that you cut out and make a fish. You put it on the palm of your hand, you just lay it flat down, and if the fish curls on your hand, it like means different things about your personality. It's kind of confusing. It says if the head of the fish curls up, it means you're jealous. Like what? If the head and the tail curl up, it means you're in love. If the sides of the fish curl, it means you're fickle. What is fickle? Like stubborn? If the fish actually flips over on your hand, you have a false personality, so aka you're super fake. And what's creepy is that it says if the fish doesn't move at all, it means you're dead. What? And the reason why it's silly is because the only way that the fish is moving on your hand depends on how sweaty your palm is, or at least that's what I've read. The material will like suck up your sweat and curl in different ways, so there's nothing magical behind it. It's literally how your body works, basically. The next toy is called Ask Xander. Xandar. It's a board game manufactured by Milton Bradley in 1992. So it's more of a high-tech battery-powered version of the Magic 8 Ball, a little sillier too. The gameplay involved reading questions aloud to Xandar, trying to guess what he would answer, and then waving your hand over his crystal ball to find out if you were right. And basically, if you guessed right, he would tell you your future. This next one, I'm pretty sure everybody has seen and knows. It is the Zoltar Machine. Zoltar is the famous animatronic fortune teller found in arcades, theme parks, gift shops, homes, and various attractions around the world. I know that I used to see these machines all the time as a kid when I was at the mall with my parents, and they actually kind of used to scare me. I mean, some of them had like legit red glowing eyes. Like, why? Are you trying to scare us or entice us? Next, we have the vintage palm reading machines. These were really popular in the 1980s, and for just 50 cents, it would tell you your palm reading. It would like light up with psychedelic colors and sounds, and it would always be this really soft female voice. I just remember I used to be so freaked out walking past these machines because I guess they had like motion detectors or something, and the second it would sense you, it would like talk to you. It would like try and get you to use the machine. It would be like, come here, I will read your fortune, give me your palm, and I will tell you about your life. And you'd be like, no, I'm just trying to shop, like leave me alone. Anyway, so guys, that's all I could find on like fortune telling toys and machines and stuff. If I missed any really popular ones, definitely comment them down below. And if you would like a Christmas mystery box, link is down below in the description. Also, if you would like to win this backdrop behind me, check out my previous video because I talk about the rules there. And also, a lot of people weren't notified, so go watch that video. It's a really good one. And yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.